here on a cold December's day on which Anfield seeks to keep its home fires burning. Can humble Watford, energised by fresh leadership, even flirt with the dreamy notion of stopping in December, a team that hasn't dropped a point here since January? The Hornets have let in 6, 5 and 5 on their last 3 visits here. Liverpool are more or less playing a different sport at the moment, on a different planet. So, Jim Beglin, why wouldn't the Reds be going 11 points clear here? And without their first choice right back in Daryl Yambak. Capoue. Salah. Deeney missed it. And Deulofeu can fetch it. And chase it Alexander-Arnold. And set it for Doucouré. Snapped away by Van Dijk. So Chamberlain and Chalobah in an embrace there. And they played in the Young England groups together. Here's Will Hughes. And he's had a pop. And he's dragged it wide.
Yeah, and Van Dijk's asking the question, was it not handball? It seemed to kind of get caught on his arm, Will Hughes, but he didn't hear a whistle, so he got on with it.
Gomez. By Cathcart. Up gets Deeney. Off goes Doucouré now with Deulofeu for support. Abdoulaye Doucouré, and Van Dijk digs it out from beneath the crossbar.
Yeah, and just in situations like that, when you're going back towards your own goal, you have to just make sure you get solid contact and the direction you want. But that's a very good position for Doucouré to be in. Had he lifted it, he might have found Deeney's head, because that is what started it all off and got Watford up the pitch.
That's a good ball from Salah. And here's Capoue. And there's Doucouré, and there's Deulofeu. It was Doucouré who had the big chance.
Big chance, I'll say. And that reaction just tells you everything. He fluffed his lines. I mean, it's wonderful movement from Capoue, and Liverpool are completely caught in behind Wijnaldum, and he makes certain that he's seen, gets into the space, and really he should be making a much better connection. And the ricochet caught Gomez on the arm, but you can't give a penalty for that. Abdoulaye, what were you thinking?
Check is complete. No handball business really to deal with. Smashed in by Deulofeu, low and easily readable by Wijnaldum. Hughes got some of it, Firmino cleared, and now Watford could be exposed by Mane and then by Salah. Mo Salah! Beautifully done. You just know. That is world class. And for all the laudable robustness of the bottom team who've come here with guts, they are undone in a world-class flash from a world-class player.
Well, to their credit, Watford to this point hadn't looked like relegation candidates. You know, they've been pretty coherent, but as spoken about earlier, some teams can be at their most vulnerable when they have a corner at the Liverpool end. And Mo Salah, once he got in position here, it's superb. That's the only word for it. Who needs a stronger left foot when you can do this on your right-hand side? And Kiko Femenino was just left for dead with the little movement inside, thinking he was probably going to go on his left. Oh no, I don't need that anymore, and Ben Foster can only watch it.
And he wants it again. Firmino couldn't find him. Kiko Femenino, who couldn't deal with Salah's quick feet in the moment of scoring. Deulofeu, he has quick feet too. Deulofeu across goal, and this lands for Salah, who's bluffed his line. Doucouré and Capoue high, and that is 2 opportunities for Watford right in front of goal that have got away.
Well, that tells you that Watford haven't even hit double figures yet in the Premier League this season in terms of goals. This is shockingly bad from Ismaila Sarr, and then on the follow-up, it's horrendous too, when there was another really good opportunity.
A couple of young players found themselves in front of the Kop. Here is Sadio Mane, caught up by Kabasele. Salah. Firmino. Milner. And what makes these great Liverpool players great is that they do put it in the net.
Yeah, and Kabasele at the moment is one giant mop at the back for Watford, and he is mopping up some opportunities that Liverpool might have been able to avail of more. And you know, he shouldn't have been allowed to kind of bounce the way it did, and for Salah to control it. Yeah, and just a touch. You can understand him trying to take it away from the keeper.
Chance this time to run perhaps at Milner. Doucouré. Sarr's got it back. Ismaila Sarr, and Alisson thwarted him at the near post.
Well, we thought Alisson might have to do that once or twice in this game, and that was an important one.
Hughes got it back from Deeney. Doucouré couldn't collect, and now Firmino can go the other way. And the other two are either side of him. Sadio Mane. Mariappa reversing. Mane running at him. Salah. Cathcart, Salah again. And skewed behind for a corner.
Well, Kabasele didn't know much about that one because it just hit him, but just as well for Watford, he did get in the way. After a little trick by Mo Salah didn't quite come off, and then he gets another bite at it. That's the trick. Didn't quite happen, and it sat up for him quite nicely, and can't say whether it was going wide or not, but I think Ben Foster would be pleased that it came off Kabasele. And Sarr at the other end, took him a while to get it out of his feet, and the angle was against him, but a big save by Alisson.
Little fella got time to measure across. It's a smashing header from Sadio Mane, and Liverpool are 2 to the good. Not 5 minutes into the second half. Mariappa has an issue. Ben Foster looks resigned.
Well, ultimately this just comes down to a wonderful delivery, and Sadio Mane looks as if he's just in an offside position. So I wonder if the VAR check on that will mean a no for him in this instance. But, you know, great header, because Cathcart is just a little sluggish reacting, and he flicked it beautifully into the corner.
Well, there is a VAR check. First glance did seem to have Mane in front.
He's on.
Yeah, Cathcart over his shoulder is going to play him on.
Yeah, the right foot of Cathcart's going to play him on. The arm obviously is irrelevant, so it's going to count.
And it was a very, very good header.
Or is it?
Oh. It's another armpit job.
That's a no.
The goal has been disallowed, and it is an indirect free kick to Watford. This way, Gerard Deulofeu, a super save by Alisson. Kiko Femenia. Deeney. Watford are getting glimpses, 3 or 4 of them over the game so far. Doucouré. That is a really good stop by Liverpool's number 1.
And it's another great chance, and there you go, that high line again, and if you get the timing right with the pass, then this is going to happen. And Alexander-Arnold knew he couldn't foul him, and Deulofeu needed, again, something just cleverer than what we saw.
Sarr. He's growing into the game here, Ismaila Sarr, and he wants to run around Van Dijk, and he's gone to ground, and he's dreaming if he thinks he's going to get a penalty.
And we saw a couple of those movements against Crystal Palace too last week, when he looked as if he was going down easy. There's not enough in that. There's a little touch, a little poke from Van Dijk.
And if there was contact, that contact actually was probably just the other side of the line.
Yeah. And I've enjoyed that as well about Watford. They've been prepared to threat.
Firmino. Foster plunges and gathers it in.
So yeah, look, Watford have been prepared to threaten at will. But, you know, this is always on second half. The ability that's in that front four is going to just keep creating more. It's a good stop, but he doesn't have to stretch too much because there isn't enough power behind it for Foster.
Out comes Milner though, and he's fed it now for Mo Salah. Kabasele got between Salah and keeper, and Foster came to pick off the ball.
No, he's complaining that Kabasele made contact with him, but it was a poor touch by Mo Salah, and he knows it got away from him. This part is wonderful, and he is onside, and credit to Kabasele, because even though that touch wasn't great, he didn't give up on it.
Henderson, he's seeking to free Salah. And Salah this time has pulled it right across the face.
Understandable, because he's got confidence in his right peg at the moment. And you know, again, it's too easy, isn't it, over the top of Cathcart, and giving him another opportunity. And this was the earlier one. It's kind of similar to Van Dijk in many ways. You put the arm out. It's what defenders do, but I don't think he's going to get that decision ever. No Salah.
Salah holding off Kabasele and feeding in Bobby Firmino, and Foster is hurriedly off his line.
Well, the Liverpool faithful are unhappy, and he's jumping with frustration, with anxiety, because he felt that was a clear foul by Kabasele, and it could have been brought back.
Mane, super ball, Robertson, Firmino, no!
Well done, Will Hughes, again, to get in position. And I guess in hindsight, Firmino probably would have liked to have just hit this first time, maybe with his left foot, but Will Hughes was able to just take enough off it to make it easier for Ben Foster. And that touch there just enabled him to get goal side in front and make it all that more harder.
Gomez with the error, Gray onto it. Pass too elaborate. That pass from Van Dijk was within a yard of equalising for Watford.
Well, that ended up looking like a good pass from Andre Gray in the end, because, you know, he'd given it away. It was unnecessary after the Gomez mistake. That is poor, and then Van Dijk thinks, well, it's an easy one, and he gets it wrong, and there was panic all around the stadium for a second or two.
Who was the last man to score an own goal in this fixture?
Well, you're going to say it was me now.
It was. In 1985.
So unlucky.
In a 4-3 Liverpool win.
Terribly unlucky.
Deulofeu's in-swinger has hit the post. And bounced back for Deulofeu. Scooped up from an offside position.
Well, I said at the very start that Liverpool are winning again with comfort. And that's not the case today. That has regressed, and Deulofeu was just inches out from maybe surprising everyone. Perhaps Alisson was in position to deal with it. You would have thought so.
In by Hughes, by Milner, Doucouré competing. Salah!
That's well wide. He's just had to backpedal to kind of create the room for him to be able to swing the right boot at it. And technically he just doesn't get it right, but it's always a good position to take up on the edge of the box, because every now and again something will come your way. And that time a better delivery too from Will Hughes after Deulofeu had tried a couple of in-swingers.
Away from Alexander-Arnold, set here for Ismail Assar, and now Doucouré has got under his shot.
Well, I must admit that the big letdown in the Watford lineup today is their inability to finish, to find something of importance to throw at Alisson. And I mean, that is again another real waste.
Well, this game of the year has been one which under new management has brought out what some may interpret as one of their best performances of the year. But here is Sadio Mane behind Salah, Origi, and nicked in by Mo Salah, cheekily, disdainfully, tellingly. The European champions have their points and will pull further clear. Right on time, and he knows he's done now.
Well, this is almost in keeping with what we've seen in the game. I mean, the release for Mane is ideal, and it's a mishit from Origi. And Mo Salah is certainly in line with Kabasele, and has it gone through the Belgians' legs, I think, with a little flick, perhaps. And eventually Liverpool have got it done, but it's been a bit fraught at times, and maybe Watford can look back on it and think, if only, it was an if only day for them. And Liverpool ultimately just had a little bit too much.
There is a VAR check. On by Alexander-Arnold. Sadio Mane. Foster's catch. Liverpool's numbers keep on climbing. Phenomenal. 34 unbeaten in the Premier League. 49 Premier League home games without defeat. 16 straight Premier League home wins. And Mo Salah, more goals that punish Watford, for whom this was an if-only day, because they were brave, a shade unlucky, but terribly wasteful, and were made to pay by the best in the business. Mo Salah again and again. Liverpool 2, Watford 0.
Hey guys, where are you going? Subscribe first.